Welcome to the Emerald Athlete Podcast. I'm your host, Chrissy Doyle, and on this podcast I speak to different Irish athletes about their highs, their lows, biggest battles, biggest successes, and why they fell in love with their sport. In this episode I chat to Irish Hyrox star Kelly Lei. Kelly Lei chats about all things Hyrox, from competing in singles and doubles, her training, her tips, her ups and downs, and so much more. Next up, Kelly Lei. Kelly, how are you? You're very welcome to the podcast.
I'm good, thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
No, it's great to have you on because I feel like Hyrox is like the big buzz thing now at the moment too. And how did you end up getting into Hyrox? Why did you choose to get involved? Or
I think it was just by chance. You know, Hyrox came about in Dubai. We heard the race. Everyone was kind of like fitness fanatic. We were like, right, let's give it a go, see what we can do. And yeah, me and my friend gave it a go, and we really enjoyed it. And yeah, I feel like it's just gone from there. So yeah.
Unreal. And where did you end up doing it first? Did you just do it in Dubai itself, or did you travel? Or?
Yeah. It was in the trade centre in Dubai. So we were like, right, an event in the trade centre, who can say no to that? So we just signed up, and I feel like it's just been all go from there ever since.
Just like a roller coaster, yeah. And how did you find like that first time, obviously, because you know it was kind of, I suppose, new for you as well. Like, did you feel like, oh my God, I've work to do here, or was it just like so fun to do with someone and just, you know, kind of get through it?
Yeah, so I originally did it with one of my friends, and like our first time I did was 1 hour 17 minutes. It wasn't as if the stations were really fast or the runs were really fast. We hadn't a clue what we were doing. We were going in there with blinkers on ourselves. So like it was just to have fun. And then once I had that race done with my friend Vicky, I was actually introduced to one of her friends, Hannah, and Hannah was just like, how did you find that? And I was like, oh, that was grand. And she was like, oh, I enjoyed that as well. She was like, how about we do a race together? So we ended up doing a race together. We said we'd train. So we did a bit of training together, and then we did another event. We did the event in February. So it started off in the September. We did the second race together in the February, and we got 1 hour and 2 minutes, and we actually qualified, podiumed, and that brought us to Nice for Worlds. So yeah, from going to having no idea what we were doing, getting 1 hour 17 to getting 1 hour 2 open, like they started off with the open races. So then we were like, okay, maybe we have like a chance at something here, you know? So we knuckled down, we did our training, and yeah, we said we'd give Worlds a go. But there's actually a funny story to us getting to Worlds. So we won Dubai, but we didn't sign the papers in time to go to Worlds. So you're meant to sign your slot. So we had to go to Doha. So we flew to Doha and we had to qualify again. So we trained to ensure that, you know, if we didn't win Doha, we couldn't qualify again. So we went to Doha and we PB'd again. We got a 101, and that qualified us then for Worlds. So yeah, that's how it all kind of really started for us.
That's mad that you just, you know, did one for the crack, then got introduced to someone, and like you've really paired up and done well together. And I think it's even more crazy that you actually PB'd, let's say, in your second one and qualified, and then that happens and you have to go to Doha to actually do it again.
I know. I think it was like a running joke of the whole place that they're like, oh, they won, but it wasn't good enough. They had to go again. So no, it was a bit soul destroying when we were like, oh, that was grand. We won. Let's go to Worlds, and realised that we didn't sign the form. And then it was like, oh, we weren't as smug then. We had to go and train it that bit harder to get to Doha. But yeah, no, really enjoyed it all the same. Like, it's just nice to be able to travel with your friends and to compete. And honestly, like, from starting Hyrox, that's how I met Hannah. She's like one of my best friends right now. So like, it's mad how sport can bring people so close together as well. So grateful for like the sport, but also like it introduced me to my best friend. So it's great.
Yeah, unbelievable. And I think you'd find this as well, because people I've spoken to have said this. You know, when you're travelling, you're going to Hyrox, it's great to hear the Irish accent, or you just notice people around you, and there's just like so many getting involved with it. It's just like a kind of a good support feeling, isn't it?
Oh, 100%. And like when you're traveling, it's like you can tell people a mile away. They have the Hyrox bag, they have all the tags and the stickers, they have the runners. It's like you can tell them a mile away, you know? It's great. And even for people that you don't know, like the support is just it's there. Like you're on a course and you're in a pain cave and you look up and there's people, cheering you on, and it's really fulfilling and motivating that like it's just such a good positive environment.
Yeah, unreal. And when you started doing it then, did you kind of go to like classes or did you immediately work with Hannah, like kind of doing your own training plan, or what way did you kind of work it when you got more serious into it?
Um, Everyone kind of laughs at me because I was just winging it. I was just doing my own thing. I used to love going to the gym, love doing running. I just did everything and anything. I do my own weight session, I do my own running. I would do every class under the sun at the weekend. I'd always have my KO8 on a Sunday, really enjoy the classes. And I think I must have done that for about like a year. And then I was like, right, I need to actually lock in. So eventually I locked in and got a coach. And that's where I seen the most progress, having purpose to my training and not burning myself out. I thought the more I did, the better it was. Like, yes, I know people are like, you're still doing a lot, Kelly Lee. I know I am, but like, there's purpose to what I'm doing now. Before this, I was like a hamster in a wheel. I was just spinning and I was like, didn't know where I was going to get. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's unreal. And it's like I could hear like coaches screaming about you winging it. But like sometimes I feel though, if you're the type of person that maybe pushes themselves, you
Yeah.
can get so much from that at the same time. But I'd say in saying that, as you say, when you get a coach, it kind of does take you up a gear. And what did you notice what was the biggest difference, I suppose, from maybe the kind of training you were doing to what maybe the coach kind of introduced for you? Was there anything that stuck out that you're just like, yeah, this really is making difference for me?
Yeah. Like, for example, like for like erg work, like I wasn't maybe doing enough of erg work. When it came to like finishers, like I thought a finisher was like I'll do 3 or 4 rounds of this, thinking I was putting myself, doing a hard session. But like when I got a plan from a coach, I was like, oh, now I see the difference. And it's like I wouldn't program it for myself. Okay, fair enough. If I was getting workouts online and said I do an engine session. The start of the week, the sessions would all be done. When you start to feel tired, you're like, I'll do 2 or 3 rounds and I leave it at that. Whereas when it's programmed, I'm never going to program them workouts for myself. Like I'm going in thinking, oh my goodness, like it's going to be a hard session. So like that's the main difference. They're hard sessions. They hold purpose and like they're really mimicking like race day, engine sessions, for example. So yeah, that's the main thing, purpose and the intensity of the workouts, really.
Yeah, that's fascinating as well. And I can just imagine that, sometimes when you, as you say, you can go to the gym, there is sometimes like subconsciously, I'd say you would pick exercises and maybe not pick the other. You know what I mean? You just
Yeah.
kind of like, I go to this exercise, I might do a finisher at the end with this rather than, focus on it. I do that
Yeah.
myself actually. It's very hard not to.
And the biggest thing as well is like I used to always think that every session had to be like a zone 6, zone 5, zone 6. I had to, make sure I was killing myself off in the gym or it didn't count. But like the most important thing is like your easy days. Like I would honestly have maybe one session a week that would be a zone 5, zone 6 would be like a proper session. Now it's more so like you're not putting yourself in like the terrors the whole time. Like you're never going to build. You need to build that base, and I feel like that's one thing that I learned since getting a coach is like you got to build the base before you can go any further. So yeah,
And do what I find as well, and I was thinking, were you going to say it or not going to say it? But that everybody goes on about the zone 2, and
yeah,
I feel like I'd actually feel more comfortable being in a zone 5 and just pushing myself through it. I feel when I have to go down to this zone 2 and kind of build a base, as you say, it's so hard. Did you find that
yeah.
low kind of dropping the?
Yeah, it is. It's monotonous. You don't like it at the start. You're never going to like it. It's boring, but like that's where the work is done. Like the boring work still counts.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's where people are missing out. Like your zone 2 is honestly so important. What I see now is I'm kind of doing more zone 2 work than I would be zone 5, 6 work. Like I'm not going all in. Like I do one threshold session a week, and the rest is like zone two, and then I would have a harder session at the back end of the week. But yeah, the zone two is really important. I know it's monotonous, it's not nice, but like you just have to, have variation to it. So yeah.
Yeah. No, it's mad because I feel like maybe wrong messages growing up and stuff like that just through sports. I was always feeling if you're not feeling it, you're not going hard enough, you're not going to make the
Yeah.
progress. Like it's just amazing how it's turned out that this kind of slower pace maybe for your body is just so important. It is mad.
Yeah, it is as well, and it's like that's how your body is like recovering. Like if you're going hell for leather for the whole week, you're never going to recover, and you're not going to be able to give your best effort to your all of your sessions. And that's one thing that I found is like now having those hard days and easy days, it's so much more beneficial to my performance because I can see it and I can feel it when I actually am training. I'm like, okay, I'm feeling good. I'm pushing. You're not in the trenches every day of the week.
Yeah, and when you say it like that in the trenches, like your body then would have to give in, as you say, and not recover properly or not perform, and you
Yeah,
will suffer, at some stage, which
yeah,
is mad. Um,
yeah.
I want to ask you as well, Kelly, what exercise or station, I suppose, which one's your favourite and which one's your least favourite? There's
Oh,
sometimes I think about it and I think every one of us is my least favourite, but which one would you pick?
yeah. I love the lunges. They're literally my go-to. I absolutely love lunges. One I hate burpees. I absolutely
Oh,
hate them. But you know why? That's why it works so well when me and Han compete together because she hates the lunges and I love the burpees. So like we work really well together because my strong stations would be her weak and her weak would be my strong. So I feel like that's why we're a perfect pairing. But yeah, okay, over the time I have got a little bit better at burpees, but like I would rather do anything else but burpees.
yeah, I do you know what, there's a club of people I think like that too, where they just hate burpees because it's a couple of movements in the one though. It's not just like
Yeah,
when you're lunging, you're sticking your leg out and you're half squat. It's just I feel like burpees. There's just so much in it, and it's
yeah, yeah. I think it's just like it's the technicality of it. Like I look like I'm two-stepping. I look like I'm throwing dance moves like I don't know what. So that's why they just don't work for me. That's why I have to work on is the form. Now I have got better, but still, yeah, they wouldn't be my forte at all.
yeah, no, and I know the coordination of it, and I feel social media as well. There's so many different tips about what to do, and it's like which one is best for me, and which one should I do? Like 2 feet
Yeah.
up at once, jump. It's so hard to get it right, and it's hard enough as it is.
Yeah, it's just what works for you. Like that's the whole thing. Like you can't do what somebody else is doing. You have to just focus on yourself. What works for you mightn't work for other people, and that's the kind of main takeaway you kind of have to take away from training with Hyrox is like your training is going to be so different to another person, and it's meant to be. It's because it's geared towards you. So again, it's just picking what works best for you, how you're feeling, and if it works for you, absolutely brilliant. If it doesn't work for somebody else, well, like they'll have a different way of doing it. So again, it's just personal preference.
Yeah, absolutely. And the running side of it, then, Kelly, how do you work that? Like, how far would you run each week? Would you say, or like, how much running do you do? Do you think that's like a huge part of it, even though there's like 8 stations? Do you feel like the running is just a really big part of it too?
Yeah, like you can't say it's not. Like running is the key thing. You look at all of these elite races, and like it's the running that is. You need to make sure that you're up there with your running. Um, Throughout the week, what would I be doing? Probably about maybe 40 kilometers, 40 to 50. And that is dependent on like when I'm coming into races, when I'm not coming into races. But like I wouldn't be doing all of those runs at like zone six, let's say. I would be, and actually my coach has implemented a lot more bike work, which I feel works really well for me because I have the engine to go, but it's my legs that give in. So it's getting building the lactic acid in the legs. So yeah, probably about 2 to 3 easy runs a week. A hard threshold bike interval session, and I do my threshold runs, and that would be it. Yeah.
That's absolutely crazy. I feel like that's scaring me and anyone that's listening with 40 to 50 kilometers a week. But as you say, it's important that, people realize and understand too that it's not at this like crazy zone 5 pace like that. A lot of it is
No,
at the easy
no.
pace, you know.
Like some of them can be bike work, but I just love running. And if I can get out and go to Kite Beach, for example, and do an easy run in Kite Beach, that fills my cup. Or like if there's days that I'm like, okay, my body's not feeling it, like I'm a little bit more sensible now than I was. I'll sit on the bike and I'll do a bike session, you know. Um, but that's just my personal preference. My coach has easy runs down, and I tend to like to do the runs. You know, running is like, yeah, I love it. So that's why I tend to do it. Like I could opt for a bike. It makes no difference. You know, I know people that are doing all of their bike sessions, all of their instead of runs, it's bike sessions, you know. So again, it's personal preference and it's the person, you know. So
Person's doing it, yeah, that's crazy.
yeah,
All bike sessions, I would have never thought that would actually work. I'd have felt like it's nearly easier or something than running, that like it couldn't work. You know, that kind of, I don't know why
yeah,
that'd be in my head, but
yeah.
that's crazy.
No, like you are still getting the miles in your legs, and again, you're just holding watts, so you're literally mimicking the pace that you're aiming to hold. You know, so that's one thing that I will say that I actually really enjoy now is the bike work. You know, you're not just sitting on a bike for the sake of it. You have watts to hit, so like it's like paces to hit. So they do hold purpose, and again, it's just getting they're literally mimicking your running. So yeah, I actually do love a good bike as well, but the running wins for me.
Yeah, you're running wins. And just when you're doing it, Kelly, because I find I'm asking a lot of people this, because you know when you're training, like would you have someone with you? Would you be listening to music or podcasts in the headphones? Because I find that you can do all that, but then it comes to race day, and it's like, you know, you won't have your headphones on. So what way do you kind of work your trainings? Do you do with someone, if you headphones in, or
Yeah, so like my engine or my hard sessions, I would generally do with my partner Hannah, or I try and rope in one or two of the lads if they have nothing to do with the weekend to do a session with me. My easy runs, I always do them with any of my friends. You know, it's an easy run. Let's just go have a bit of fun. Um, but yeah, I just any of my hard sessions, I don't wear headphones now anymore. I seen a thing kind of online, and it was actually Luke Penny, I think I was following, and he had said that he was pretty much mirroring race day. Essentially, like you need to know what you need to know what your breathing sounds like. You know, like when you're in a hard session, you're not hearing your breathing, but then when it comes to race day, your heart is palpitating, you're hearing your breathing, and you don't know, you know, where you stand in that race. So it's something I've only implemented, I'd say, in the last like 2 months. But yeah, I just don't wear headphones in my hard races. So yeah,
yeah.
hard session.
No, I'd agree with you, because I religiously would do it, right? But I've found I've done,
Yeah,
like I went and done a Hyrox with training with music, right? And I feel
yeah,
like it's soul destroying when you don't have the music, because it's such a kind of a comfort, let's say. And
yeah,
then, as you say, like you're in your own head, and then like as you say, you might focus on your breathing more, and you haven't practiced that, you know, as well. So it's kind of like it's just such a big
yeah.
difference, you know.
Yeah. And I actually we had the half marathon here in February, I think it was, the Burge to Burge.
Oh yeah.
And I always would have ran with headphones in. And I was like, "Do you know what? I'm just gonna raw dog this, as to say." And I had no headphones in, and everyone was like, "You're absolutely mad." But honestly, like, I didn't mind it at all. You know, you're so much more present. You're around the atmosphere, you're around people. And I felt like it felt like a community in a run, if that makes sense. You know, you were getting so far, you're like, I don't know if I want to get so far. You had people shouting, motivating you, supporting you. So yeah, I just might not be for everybody, but yeah, definitely no headphones for the hard sessions. For the easy ones, yeah, I would, if I'm on a bike doing an easy bike session or an easy yeah, would be like your Netflix. I can't say I wouldn't be watching a bit of Netflix or a podcast or listening to something. But yeah, other than that, I'm trying to stick to my word, put myself kind of like in the zone for race day. When you hit that pain cave, it's like, right, what are you going to do when you're in this moment? So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, no, absolutely. It makes sense. I know it's definitely very hard to do, but it makes sense that you'd mirror what you're going to be doing on the day, you know.
yeah,
Um, You've given so many tips there, I feel already, Kelly. But if you had like a top three tips for someone either, going to do a Hyrox or looking to improve, what kind of things would you say that are quite important that maybe you've learned?
Consistency, number one, because not every race is going to go to plan. You can be the fittest, you can feel absolutely great on the start line, and then you go out in a race and it could just not go your way. Your body just goes. And like, you just need to realize you put in the hard work, that race is over. It's just been consistent and just, keep going with your training. Second thing I would say would be purpose to your training. So the first thing would be to sign up with a coach, whoever it is, and have purpose to your training. That you're doing sessions that are going to help you and not just drain the energy out of you. And then lastly, I would say have fun. And I know it's hard, but enjoy the process. That's the most important thing, because I love the training. And I know I have some races and I'm like, that was absolutely awful. I'm never doing another one again. And I would say that to myself. But it's the process you have to enjoy, because, the change isn't seen and based on a result. Yes, I know some of us are tied to results and we classify how good we are based on a result. But like, it's the progression that you've seen, and it's enjoying that process and seeing the difference in yourself. So yeah, I would just say, enjoy the process of it. And yeah, that's pretty much what I would say.
Yeah, amazing. And I actually listened to it was Johnny Wilkinson, just a former English rugby player, was talking about like
Yeah.
winning a World Cup, and he said that the game was over. He was very kind of goal orientated, so it was like winning. And he said after 30 seconds he had won, and he was already feeling down. He was like, "What's next?" And it was a real message of, if you're not getting joy from every single thing you're doing to get there, the process, like, you're going to be really disappointed at the end, because eventually after doing it, it will be on a down. It's not going to be there forever, but the
Yeah.
process is the one where you're kind of like, enjoy it with your friends and all the things you do with it.
Yeah, yeah, and you just see how far you've come as like a person, and like how the difference in yourself. Like, from at the start, maybe if you're starting off running, like you don't think that you can ever imagine, doing the runs, and then you do your first race, you do your second race, and you look and you compare, and it's like even my first race, like, sure, I hadn't a clue what I was doing going out, and then like, it's only over time, it's having that consistency, it's enjoying the process. That like, yeah, it's great, the wins come, but you have to enjoy it. Otherwise, what's the point? That's the whole point. That's what me and Hannah always say when we go out and race. We just go, right, let's have fun. This is the whole point.
Unreal, yeah. No, you have to have fun, because it's not worth signing up. There's too much. You do too much training for it anyway. Traveling,
Yeah.
everything like that. It's just too much not to enjoy it.
Yeah. Oh no, it's not a cheap hobby.
No, definitely. Well, if you're doing it consistently, like I said, it definitely isn't. Definitely. I
Yeah.
believe it. I was going to say, is there any things, I suppose, that you learned as well, like mistakes along the way or things like that, where you're like, I definitely don't want to make that again, just for people maybe to hear as well? Because I know from my own practicing experience, friends laugh at this when I said it. I did the sled, and I was saying to myself in my head, this actually isn't too bad, and I just kept going. I didn't stop, and the next minute I felt like my legs were like tree trunks
Yeah.
and stuck to the ground, and I actually couldn't move, and I was like, I can't do anymore.
Yeah.
Was there any
Yeah.
for you that
100%.
stand out that are kind of like, I suppose, similar, or that you've learned?
Yeah, I just find run your own race. I'm very much like, I get caught up in the heat of the moment, and once that gun goes off, I'm gone. And like, at the start, you're doing a 3:20 pace, and at the end, then you can hardly hold a 4:10.
Yeah.
So it's like, you got to run your own race. Go into the race knowing what you're going to do and stick to the plan. The race isn't won on the ski. It's only after the row that the race really takes off. So like, when we do race our races. Now, I can't really take credit for this. It's Hannah now that does pace me and put me into place. But like, yeah, going out, like, you're never going to win a race on the ski, and it's like, why would you burst yourself on a ski for an extra 8 seconds when you can make that up on a run? And then again, when it's coming to the sleds, 13, 14 steps, break and go again. You don't want to build the lactic acid, because although you might feel great in the moment and the adrenaline, once that wears off, then you've actually ruined your race, you know? So yeah, just stick to your plan and just eyes on yourself, really. You know, the race only really takes off after the rower. You know, like you have the sleds done. Once the sleds are out of the way, and the burpees in my case, then that's the time to just take off, because the back half of the race, it's quick and you are done. You know, like farmers carries, fly them lunges, fly them wall balls. You know, it's making sure that you pace the first half of your race, because that's where the winning is done, is the back half of the race. You know, you can race a good start, but you got to keep that up for the last. And you know, I think that's where the engine kind of comes in. You have to just be careful, be clever, and race your own race.
Yeah, absolutely. Because as you say, everyone's at their own kind of level too to what they get. And I'd say some strategies are very different for other people as well. You know, for what how they could work as a team maybe and their strengths and weaknesses, like you said with the
Yeah,
lunges and the
yeah,
burpees that like that. I'm just laughing thinking too that like you'd be racing by and Hannah would be nearly saying, "Slow down, you need to come back with me." You know, it's probably a nice thing to have a partner and do a doubles. You know, just so
a
they can
hundred
keep you in
percent.
check. You know.
Yeah, yeah, because I would go out hot, and then I wouldn't want to be seen at the end of a race, you know. So it's really important just to, you know, not to go out too hot, you know. And another thing that's really important is a proper warm up at the start. You know, like we used to just say, okay, yeah, a few stretches, guns off, let's go. You know, it's really important to even just get that couple of minutes at the start. Like you need to raise your heart rate. The last thing you want to do is not having raised your heart rate, going out and your heart rate spiking, and then that's you gone for the whole race, you know. So a proper warm up is really important. And then I would never ever touch a sled before a race. Never, no sleds, no wall balls, no nothing. You don't need to. Like, you've practiced them in training, there's no point wasting energy, you know. It's just getting the heart rate up and getting yourself ready for the race. So yeah, that would be my top tips. If you are racing, there's no need for the sleds. There's no need. Like, why are you trying to do a Hyrox race before your Hyrox race? You're wasting valuable energy, you know. So yeah,
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, after my experience with sleds, I definitely wouldn't touch it. I probably never wanted to see it again. But yeah, it's
yeah.
just, yeah, you don't want to burn out before you go. 100%. I'd have to agree with that
Yeah.
as well. Did you ever do? Have you always done the doubles then, Kelly, or have you ever actually have you done a singles as well, or how did you find the
I
difference?
did. I did a solo. It's funny because it was Christmas time, and most people get people like, you know, a gift voucher or something like that. I got Hannah a singles ticket for Frankfurt. So the two of us went to Frankfurt. I was like, "Happy Christmas! We're going to Frankfurt. We're doing solos." So yeah, I did a solo, and do you know what? I actually enjoyed it. And this was when I actually hadn't even got a coach, so I was kind of just winging my training myself. Um, and I actually enjoyed the solo in the sense of I could pace myself. So like when you were on stations, like you knew when you could take a break. You could slow down a station and then, you know, pick up when you had gathered your breath. Um, but with the doubles, it's like, you know, no mercy. You're gone. You can't stop when you want to stop, you know. So that is one thing. I did actually enjoy the open. I just did an open race. I did enjoy the solo, but yeah, oh, it was very monotonous. Like, it's not as fun when you're not with someone, I think, you know. Don't get me wrong, like I definitely will do more, but even just the training now, like if you were doing a solo, like it's a lot of work on your own, you know, and it's nicer to share that with other people. But yeah, no, we did the open women's in Frankfurt, and I don't know why I picked Frankfurt. I was like, the home of Hyrox is Germany, and I decided to pick it there. But yeah, no, it was still good. I think I got 107, and I think I came. It was like seventh, and if I did it in Poland, I would have been first. So it's just
Right.
mad the time. So it just goes to show the importance of like where you race can have an effect on like how you place, do you know? So I feel like Europe now is the standard has just, it's absolutely insane. So I feel like people are now racing. Yes, you're racing for a time, but you're also looking at locations, you're looking at courses, you're looking to see where you're gonna, you know, do well, place and get a good time, you know. And I feel like an awful lot of people were hard done by with Berlin. There's been a lot of talk about Berlin. Like, it used to be a fast course. It was like 700-meter runs. It's fast, sub-hour is easy. And yeah, I said to Hannah, I was like, Hannah, let's go do this. This will look great on our CV. Berlin, it's a quick course. And yeah, this year they changed the layout of the course. They changed to the opposite side of the airplane track. And yeah, I don't think anybody PB'd on that race course track. The rock zone people's rock zone times were 9 to 12 minutes.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So it was a long, long course. So yeah, I feel like everyone right now is just racing for where they're going to get a good result in what course. So yeah, I feel like that's the way the racing is gone now.
Unbelievable, yeah, and it's hard to think because you would think that it's just all the same. But do you have any preference, Kelly? Like, is there a massive difference between, because it all meant to be in around a kilometre, isn't it? So
Yeah.
is 2 laps, 3 laps, do you think that makes a difference, or is it all in the head, or what do you think?
No, the laps make a difference. And sorry, I'm just laughing there because we did a course or a race in Mumbai, and Mumbai was 3 lap race course. And like, I love a race course that's 2 laps, simple as I don't want any more laps. Mumbai was 3 laps, and we were going, okay, we'll count them. Me and you, Hannah, will do 1, 2, 3. We went out at the start knowing that we were doing 3 laps, but obviously the first run is always shorter. We did 3 laps for the first run. So we had come in when everyone was leaving the ski. And yeah, I was just like, oh,
No.
we're done. We're done. And it was honestly soul destroying. And yeah, we just said, right, we can't drop out now. Let's just stay going. And I think we got then to the farmer's carry, and Han looked at me and she was like, Kelly, have we got 1 or 2? And I go, I don't know how many more we've got left. I think we did an extra lap in the middle of that as well. So it was just, honestly, it was horrific. Now, don't get me wrong, we still ended up placing and winning our age group, but the laps were just, I hate it. And everyone slags me now when I go for a race. They're like, oh, make sure you know how to count now, Kelly Lee. But yeah, I just think for easiness of racing, it takes the stress out of having to count, know how many laps you're doing. I feel like 2 is just a sweet spot, you know. The 3 is, you don't know if you've done the 2, you don't know if you've done the 3. So yeah, I personal preference now, I would prefer like a 2 lap course. Easy.
But you know what? You've enough to worry about without thinking how many laps to do as well.
No.
There's so much to take in, already.
Yeah.
I was in
Yeah.
Gdansk in Poland, and they actually had a big screen, and your name would pop up when you get to a certain place to tell you how much you've left. I think that should be everywhere because it's one
Yeah.
thing to make your life a little bit easier.
It does, but you know what? Sometimes it has the lap number, but by the time you pass it, it's too slow on reading the what laps you have done. So like, I feel like just have it in your head, be counting. But again, it's a lot. When you hit a part of a race, you're tired, everything starts to hurt, and you're like, right, I need to just put the head down. It's like, yeah, I'm not a fan of the multiple laps in a race.
But as well, the way like you kind of made another mistake, Jordan, isn't it unbelievable how no matter what you prepare and do, one mistake can lead to more because it's so easy for your head to go no matter what you've done.
100%, and that's just what you have to prepare for, like on the start line, not preparing for everything that's going to go well, because 9 times out of 10 in a race, not every race is going to go well. Something's going to happen, something's going to go wrong, you're going to get on a ski that's wrong, maybe a row mightn't start in time, and it's just like, you just have to prepare yourself. What are you going to do in that situation? Like, you can look at a judge and you can give out all you like, or you can just suck it up, get on with it, and do what you can from there. There's nothing you can do. It's out of your control. You just have to control what you can control. And yeah, that's just another thing. It's just like, be prepared for anything to happen, and have the mindset that I can attack it and that's going to go wrong, So yeah, mindset is the big thing. You can train as hard as you want, you can be as fit as you want, but the main thing out there racing is your mindset. That's the only thing stopping you.
Getting where you want, yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
And just that you mentioned judges there, Kelly, is there any things that you've noticed where, you can easily kind of get caught by a judge for doing it, because you know the way sometimes the rules is kind of, there's little
Yeah.
things you could do. Is there any things that you notice that like watch out for basically?
Yeah, especially for your burpees. And now it depends it across, consistency of judges, but there's always going to be that one judge that's going to make sure that they're hot on you. But yeah, 100% for your burpees, making sure that your 2 feet are aligned before you jump. It's really important where you're getting your hands down. It's easy to say, oh, let's just, rush this and get it done, but like the extra 10 seconds it takes you to actually put your feet properly instead of getting a 30-second or a minute penalty, it makes a lot of difference. And then another thing exactly for like your rowing and your skiing, you need to make sure that the you don't hop on the rower and are putting your feet in and taking the row at the same time, because it's now a minute penalty.
Yeah.
It was 30 seconds, but it's gone to a minute now. So it's like for the carelessness, you're adding a minute on for just being careless. And then what other thing I would say? I would say for the wall balls, saving time, passing the wall ball to your partner and making sure that you're like right in front of them. So like it's just making sure that you're abiding by the rules. Like the judges, I know we can give out about them and give out to them, but like at the end of the day, they're just doing their job,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's not working in your favor, but it's just something that you have to be mindful of.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you even say they're 30 seconds a minute, like when you're racing, you'll be able to tell me more than anybody. That time, it's so much time, because I even feel like people, you don't even get a secondary to stop for water and a drink. So like there is no time to spare, with it.
No, no, and like that 30 seconds could cost you a podium place.
Yeah.
That 30 seconds could cost, it's literally seconds is what's in it now. So like that's why it's so important that you're just mindful. Like penalties, they're not needed. The rules are there, abide by them, and that's all we can that's all you can do. Like you kick yourself more for not getting, like, okay, your race might have went well, but like you kick yourself more for getting a penalty
Yeah.
than not racing to the best of your ability, because it's something that you could control.
Yeah. You could stop it as well. And Kelly, I want to ask you, because do you take a break at all? Like, do you get a sip of water for 5 or 10 seconds? Because I can't get over this. When I did, it was like, there's nobody stopping here. It's like a full hour 15, hour and a half with basically no stoppage. Do you stop at all?
No, no, I don't. I feel like I'm just so used to training now. Everybody kind of laughs at me, like I could go out and do like 18, 19, 20K and I wouldn't have a sip of water. It would cause me to have a stitch. I just can't. In at the rower, I would have my gel, but other than that, I don't have that, and I sip my fluids, and I'm hydrated going into the race, and like, yeah, just the gel. I don't, unless it's a bit of water that's through over the back of my neck to cool myself down. No, I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be stopping now for water.
Yeah. It's obviously you're so used to it now, and you have it kind of planned
Yeah.
out, but it's incredible to hear like that it's such an intense event and you're going for so long, and it's like you don't get that break. It's just, it's mad.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. No, I'm in a pain cave for long enough. I said the water can hold off.
Just get me through here.
Just get me to the end as quick as possible. Water is not needed.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I wanted to ask you as well just about the impact, I suppose, of the likes of Hyrox, especially because we're here in Dubai as well, in the terms of run clubs, Hyrox classes, and kind of bringing people together. Like, have you seen a big surge since you've got involved, like, and how good it is, basically?
Absolutely. Like there's so many classes now for Hyrox. There's so many different gyms, and it's like everyone's like, "Oh, what gym do you go to?" And it's like you need to. I feel like it's kind of community based now. So it's like what kind of, fits you. There's so many communities. There's also so many run clubs. And it's great. Like you've got social runs, and then you've got ones that are, holding purpose and making sure that you're progressing, kind of every week. Like for example, like Hybrid Run Club that you have there, the boys program that like so well. It's so well run, and it's like they have testing week, like 5Ks, they're in their different groups, there's different sessions, speed sessions, and it holds purpose, and then they're tested at the end of the, let's say, month or 2 months. And like, yes, it's a community, but it's everyone kind of pushing each other together. And I feel like when you train with people who are better than you, it pushes you. So like it brings out that inner competition, and I kind of love that. So it's nice to get out and to train with everyone to do the community based stuff, but I think it's really hard to do everything,
Yeah.
as in your own training and like the clubs and stuff like that as well. Like I try, I probably was better for it at the start, but like when you've got events coming up, it's like you kind of want to really lock in, and it's like you have your own training program. It's like I can't be doing other sessions and not hitting my own sessions to the best of my ability. So some weeks when, there's maybe no races and stuff like leading up to big events, like say to my coach, I want to make sure that I've got a planned session in at the weekend. I want to do one, like for example, like KO8 or something of a Sunday, and enjoy that class. Or I want to do my intervals with Hybrid Run Club of a Thursday evening. She'll factor that into a session as well. So it's just, yeah, it's again, there's where the purpose comes into play. It's like you can do all of these clubs, but it's like, what's your goal and what's the purpose to what you're doing to it? So yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's great that, like, as you say, you will have like your people socially who will go to kind of like a social group for their run club, and then there's people that are, quite competitive, let's say, wanting to push themselves more, and they'll work with people who are better than them as well. But
Yeah.
I think if you can, as you say, manage your own training with the clubs and stuff as well. And obviously, if you wanted a break from your own training, it's lovely to know that there is these clubs and places you can go where there's a great community that you can kind of, work with. It's great.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just so nice. Like you meet so many people there, and I feel like it's just a great way of like networking, especially in Dubai. Some people, I feel like it was the drinking and partying and brunching scene now, and I feel like they've done a 360. It's like run clubs and Friday night sends are like the new going out, let's say. So yeah, it's great. It is.
Yeah, no, it's mad. I know there's an Irish lad, I think it was like a reel, and it was like he was giving out and he was saying, everything now is a run and a coffee. What happened to a pint on a Saturday night and stuff like this? He was just ranting on, like, and it's like,
Yeah.
and I get it, like, and I'm laughing, and I do agree with him in a way, but like, there is something lovely about going for a run, getting your exercise done, sitting down and having a coffee, even with your
Yeah.
best friends or people you've just met. Like, it's a great kind of feeling, like, too.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think it's just everyone has kind of changed. It's the new thing, and I love it. I'm all here for it. Like I couldn't think of anything worse than going to a brunch. It's just not my scene. But like as for like the run clubs, the vibes, having breakfast, chatting to people, I absolutely love it. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
And fresh Sunday mornings, there's a lot to be said for a fresh Sunday.
Oh, there's a lot to be said for a fresh Sunday morning.
As I'd say, everyone has done enough where it's like they've had, let's say, not so fresh Sunday morning. So it's lovely to
Yeah.
kind of be in that place to kind of go after it as well.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And the older you get, they don't get any easier.
Oh, don't talk to me. Having that problem myself a lot lately. But anyways, what I want to say to you, the big thing as well for I feel for women in sport, along with like let's say the Hyrox, the run clubs, I feel like that's got so many more women running, getting involved in sport, and it's actually just great to see so many taking part in it too. Because I feel the community base really suits women a lot too, to kind of come together, because I feel like sometimes even from speaking to friends, starting on your own in kind of an exercise route, it just seems to be so hard. But the fact it's community based and you go to group now, it's just got so many more involved. It's great to see.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And even like looking at the racing now, like years ago, it would be like the men that you would have looked up to, and you'd be like, oh my God, they're so fit. Like, how are they doing it? But now it's like you have that standard there. Like, you're looking at all the women in the sport now, and it's like they're honestly just insane. Like they're pushing you, they're driving you, and it's like they're putting women, let's say, back on the map again, you know. So it's like the standard of training that the women are doing is second to none. Like I know James Kelly has said that the girls he programs for, he wouldn't be able to keep up the training that he's programming for them, you know. And like it just goes to show the level of training that girls are doing. So yeah, it's great to put the women back on the map again.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing, what made me notice a lot in Hyrox, I think, as well, is that the pro women used the men's weights. And I'm looking at my time, and I'm looking at my friends of mine time, and then I see these women up on podiums, and I'm like, oh my god, she's insane. How do you know
Yeah.
the time that she's getting? It's
Yeah.
just incredible to see how well it's doing. Like it's
Yeah, yeah, I know exactly. And it's yeah, the women were using the men's open weights. So yeah, I know it's just yeah, I suppose just it's great to see like again men probably appreciating the women a bit more and going, oh my God, respect to them because you know I found that hard. So you know, but yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah, no, it's great to see, and I really hope it continues in that trajectory as well. And I'd say it will just get better and better. Uh, any high rocks coming this year, or what's kind of, I suppose, the focus going forward for you?
So the focus for us now is for myself now is Worlds. So we've got Stockholm in 2 weeks. So that's the focus now. We're competing the 20th of June. So all eyes on Stockholm and yeah, hopefully go out and PB. That will be the goal. So enjoy it, obviously. But I think a PB is up there. You know, it's been a while since we've had a proper race. Like we qualified last July, and with like half marathon and marathon training, that kind of got in the way of not got in the way, but like it was priority over the races because we qualified for Worlds. So now it's just about going out and just seeing where our training, our base level training has got us. So yeah, that's it. And then
Unbelievable.
hopefully a few mixed doubles next year. So would love to just get into that field of getting the mixed doubles in onto my belt.
Unbelievable. And Kelly, taking into account everything, right? Into like just getting through a high rocks for a start, right? Going to the pro, the worlds, all of that, and teaching. Like for the rest of us, like how are you doing it all, or how do you end up mapping all that out? Because as you know as well as myself, we're teaching in Dubai or just teaching in general and having the energy to go to training, travel to these places. Like, how are you doing it all? That's my that's my question.
Yeah, everyone says that my training is my full-time job and my teaching is my hobby at this rate. But no, just routine. I feel like I'm just so rigid in a routine that I'm just so used to it. Like I'm up early in the morning, I train, and then I'm into school, and then I like tutor or train in the evening. But I just feel like I'm more structured and set up. Like I could be up at maybe four, half four in the morning, and I'm training at five. I have my training done. I have my coffee had, and then I'm set up, and I've had my time in the morning. Do you know that sort of way? So I feel like it just works here in Dubai. I know it's busy, but like when I'm not in school or I don't have a routine, I'm like I've all day to do everything, and I get nothing done. Do you know?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I have loads of time. I'll do it later on. And it's, I feel like it's actually, I'm just so in the routine of it now. Don't get me wrong, like when I come back after like maybe summer or Christmas, I'm like, how did I do this before?
Yeah.
Because like it's so hard to get back into the routine. But I feel like just when you're in the routine, I feel like I'm just structure orientated that it just works well for me because I know I have a certain time in the morning to go to the gym and I have a certain time in the evening to go to the gym. You know, there's no time waste and I'm actually yeah, works well in routine. So
Yeah.
for myself, that's how it works anyway. Yeah.
And do you recommend? I know people talk about this a lot. Do you recommend the 5 a.m. club? Like literally go in, start fresh, get it done, and then
Yeah.
you've a work in your evening to yourself.
Yeah, 100%. I feel number one, it's your you time in the morning. There's nothing better than just feeling like you've seized the day from the get-go. And then as well, even if you have a hard session or you have a session, you're all day thinking about the session you have to do. Do you know? And I know getting out of bed in the morning, people might say, oh, the thought of getting out of bed, but like it's just you get yourself ready. So like I have my gym gear out, ready to go. Everything's packed. All I need to do is put it on and out the door, you know? And it's, yeah, motivation is not always going to be there,
Yeah.
but that's where the discipline kicks in, you know? So yes, I'm a firm believer of the 5 a.m. club. Give it a go. And honestly, you won't look back. Even your mood, your endorphins, you're happier. It's funny, like I'd have some of the kids, if you'd be giving out saying, come on, sit down now, and they're like, Miss, did you not get your workout in this morning? Is that why you're not in good form? So like it's just, for me personally, it just works well. Endorphins are there and I just really enjoy it. But yeah, again, it's all about just making sure that when you are doing those early mornings, getting to bed early at night, you know, because you can do it for a while, but you'll be running off steam after a while. So yeah, but yeah, 5 a.m. club, really recommend.
Yeah, and it's unreal too, because when I think about it, because I would like exercise myself in the evening, but I'm like, sometimes I'm like, work has influenced my day, so like it could be positive, but it could be negative. But if I just get over tiredness in the morning, there's nothing happened yet to kind of influence me towards doing my workout or not, which is brilliant because, once, as you say, a routine of sleeping, probably early, I would say, if you're up at 4 o'clock, but still, there's nothing kind of getting in your way mentally, from going there, bar to sleep.
Yeah,
Tired.
yeah, no, and like as I always say, like once I get my workout done, I'll go into work and they're always laughing at me, and I'm like, well, it's only downhill from here, so that's it. Like nothing can dampen your day when that happens, you know. But also, like it's amazing going in the mornings because in Dubai, like there's so many people in there. Like we're going in, we're at a set time. Like Roisin Egan, we train in the same gym, and it's great. You're going in, and it's like you're seeing her in there and like everyone's motivating each other, like there's so many within that gym setting that like you're nearly having, it's nearly like a community meeting in the morning, do you know what I mean? So like you're in there, you're not the only one in there, there's so many more in there. um but yeah, again, for those in Ireland, the gyms probably aren't open that early in the morning, and it's a lot harder to do that at home. I know the 6 o'clock alarms, it's black dark outside, it's raining, you don't want to do it, but like you never regret a workout is what I always say. So,
Yeah.
you have to.
That's very true, and but it is a nice thing to be able to throw on a t-shirt and get in the car rather than put on a big jacket and wait for the car to heat up.
Defrost.
Yeah, I know, to defrost. Oh God, I know. But
Yeah.
at the same time, if as you say, if it's part of your routine and you get it in, like you'll keep doing it if you get into the routine of it, like you'll get through.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like start small. Like you don't have to start going to the gym at 5 a.m. 5 days a week. It's like sus and see, do it twice a week, do it like a Tuesday morning and a Thursday morning. At least you're getting your line on your Monday, your Wednesday, and your Friday. Do you know? It's like start small because that's how you're gonna get into a routine. You can't, do it all for 1 week and then you burn the candle at both ends and you can't do it for the second week and then you throw the towel out. You're like, oh, I'm not gonna bother. So with everything, start small.
Absolutely, start small and you win. And as you say, even from earlier with your running, as you say, build your base. Start small, build yourself up, and you'll be able to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And give yourself grace. I feel like we're always chasing the next time, or we're always chasing the next big thing. But like, in put it into perspective, you need to take a step back and look at where you have come to where you are now. You're comparing yourself to other people's times, to getting to the next level, and it's like sometimes you just have to take a step back and just give yourself grace and go, okay, look at what I've achieved, look at where I've come from, and that's the biggest win, is seeing how far you've come, not you compared to someone else. So I think that's the most important thing. Comparison is the thief of joy. So we just need to stay in our own lane and focus on ourselves.
Yeah, no, 100%. And it's actually, when I think of it now, Tom Hogan said it to me. He's like, there was someone comparing, you could be comparing a time to someone who represented Ireland in running and just get into Hyrox. And he's already, after putting in 10, 15, 20 years of work in his running, and he's literally built for this. And you're
Yeah,
just coming in casually after doing a bit of training, and you're supposed to compare yourself to him. It's ridiculous,
yeah,
really, when you think
I
about it.
know, I know. And like you don't know, as they always say, like your chapter one could be someone's chapter 21. Do you know? And like you really don't know.
Yeah.
So exactly, you just need to just focus on yourself and your own training. You know, that's where the mindset comes in, and you're going to enjoy the process so much more, you know, when you just focus on yourself.
Absolutely, yeah. No, it's a much more enjoyable experience just to do what you need to do, your own goal. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Kelly, it's been great to have you on the podcast to talk all things Hyrox, and it's great to hear about, I suppose, your journey to get there and how well you're doing. And I wish you all the best in the future races and in the Opens as well, or the World. Sorry.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me, and yeah, we'll keep you posted about all things us.
Thanks for listening to the Emerald Athlete podcast. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure to leave a review. And don't forget to check out our Instagram page, the Emerald Athlete Podcast.